Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sledgehammers in the Office podcast, where we celebrate the heavy hitters on the job site and in the office. Today, I'm joined, as usual, by Alex von Reich from Control Analytics. How are you doing?
Good, you?
Doing all right. And then, before we get to the other regular guest, we do have something that we need to take a look at.
So, if you don't do it next month,
yes, there should be some type of punishment.
That's exactly
right. I'm totally okay with it.
We have MasonOxendale, our residential real estate agent. So, for the month of April, your job was to put 2 posts up on Instagram. Or, I'm sorry, 4 posts up on Instagram. And there were only 2.
No, there's 3. Technically,
there were 2.
2 in April.
I checked. I've checked multiple times. I checked the entire month of
No,
April.
there was 3.
All right, so...
You have 2 in May.
Yeah, there's 2 in April.
2 in May.
2 in May.
Well, yeah, there's 3 total, and then
doesn't
one was
matter.
literally posted today.
Yeah, that's May.
What day is today?
Yeah, I'm not backing out of this. About word to word.
Oh no, you get to put it on.
In the middle of the podcast, you want me to put it on?
Yeah. If you need to step out, you can, but just saying.
You're gonna look very pretty.
So, Alex, what have you been up to?
Oh, no, not too much. Been doing a lot of life stuff. Had a friend's wedding recently, and we got to golf the day of the wedding, so that was super fun. Really enjoyed all the activities, and yeah, it was a good time. Yeah. What about you? What have you been up to?
What'd you shoot?
Well, we did scramble, so we did team scramble. So it was best ball for 2 people. But I think we did like 20 over par. So we're very new, so we are not good by any means. But
20 over?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not that good.
Yeah, I'm terrible at golf. I just started, so we can't all be as good as you, Mason.
Don't worry, Mason. I think the camera's still picking you up.
I think I got underwear on. This would be a little skimpy.
Yes, it would be a little skimpy if you did not have underwear on. At least it's soft.
Yeah.
It fills in your boobies very well. I think you could pull the back down a bit.
Or just leave it up. It's fine. We'll enjoy looking at it.
There's an accessory to this.
There's a little headband.
Yeah, but
Where'd it go?
we
You put it
didn't
on
say
your
you have
shoes.
to wear the headband.
You don't have
so.
to wear the headband if you don't want to.
Thank you, bet's a bet.
My man.
If there's one thing Mason is, it's honest. Anyways,
That's fair.
this last month got real busy. Those 2 kitchens that we've been talking about, they kicked off, and I made the mistake of starting them 4 days apart. And at the beginning of the project, that's when it gets the most labor intensive from my point of view. So my head was spinning.
I'm sure.
My head's been spinning probably through today.
Yeah.
Since we started those guys. So that's been a good 3 weeks worth of just mayhem. But,
Yeah. Hey, you survived it.
We'll
see how unscathed,
Yeah.
but you still
Yeah.
survived it. You're still alive right now, so that's good.
Yep. So, but other than that, during this month, my brother and one of my cousins, both their wives, had babies. So,
Nice.
Got to see both of them. Everybody's moms are healthy, babies are healthy. So,
Good.
yeah, it was good to visit with them and see everybody. So, yeah, and then last night it was Cinco de Mayo, so the wife was like, hey, we should make some tacos for Cinco de Mayo. And so we cooked up some steak and we made some steak tacos. And I think, first of all, it was the best steak I've made on the grill so far. So super proud of myself. And then the tacos turned out great.
Nice.
We both ate a little much, but it was
well
definitely
deserved.
fantastic.
Heck yeah. Heck
So.
yeah.
I was so nervous to make steak too on the grill for the first time because that's just never something I had made.
Yeah.
So looked up, just like, all right, what's the best way to do this? And then
Yeah.
they had like simple recipe. They said hold these temperatures, and it worked out real well. We're gonna have to put like a sensor block on this thing. You want to grab that door before you throw the headphones on? You look fantastic.
I started the podcast off like this, guys.
But it's so much more fun to do it like this.
Especially with the yellow socks, I think that it really goes well.
Yeah, we're gonna be staring right up the gauntlet here.
My sugar daddy socks.
Very, very nice. Very nice.
So, Mason, what does your last month look like?
I recently. Can you hear me?
Oh, I muted you just a second. There we go.
There we go. I recently started up in the men's basketball league.
Hold on.
There we go.
I recently started up in a men's basketball league.
Nice.
Restarted back up, which is nice. I'm significantly out of shape. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, playing basketball if you just haven't run in a while is
Yeah.
just brutal.
Yes.
I feel like especially on the knees.
Oh yeah, and the back.
Yeah. Well, that's why I haven't played in a long time, just because my knee keeps swelling up.
Oh, that's
But
not
it's
good.
getting better. It hasn't swelled up. Well, I mean, it gets sore and stuff, but
Yeah.
it hasn't swelled up yet, so that's good.
Is it just like a rec league?
Yeah, it's like it's a rec league.
Nice.
It's actually I'm technically an import.
What does that mean?
It is like you're only allowed to have 2 white people on the team.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Is this like DEI or what's going on?
No, it's put on by some like it's like it's like mostly it's for like I think Asians. I don't know if that's appropriate word nowadays to say. But yeah, basically it's just a league, so you have to have some type of ethnicity except for white.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and each team's allowed 2 white people.
Oh, okay. So you're the
Seems
token
a
white
little
person.
racist.
Yeah, I'm an import.
Glad to see that you're representing.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you played any games yet?
Yeah, we've played 3 games or 2 games technically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're 1-1.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Was the loss close or?
No. Yeah, it was everybody's. There's one kid that's 19, just graduated high school.
Oh,
He's
nice.
the son of somebody else on our team.
Okay.
And the rest of us, I should show you a picture. They took a picture of us before the game. Just a bunch of like out of shape 35-plus-year-olds.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we just had to get back in the swing of things.
Nice, nice. Yeah. Were you shooting half-court shots just to show them what's up?
No, usually when I start playing, I can't shoot very well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the trenches.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You're throwing elbows.
Oh, yeah.
Getting the tees.
Yeah, oh yeah. That dog. If you could tell. But yeah, that's pretty much. I've been focusing on keeping my knee healthy so I can play basketball again.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very important.
And then, did you finish up coaching your son's basketball league?
Yeah, didn't we talk about that?
I didn't know it finished. I
Yeah.
thought it was still going on.
About how we beat that one team?
No.
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 Yeah, didn't we? Because I didn't like the coach.
No.
No, I thought we heard you
almost lost it.
you like cussed out a ref or something.
Oh, I didn't curse. It was a church league.
All right. You yelled at a ref
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everyone was
You got
like,
mad at
"What?"
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, that wasn't, yeah. Then we played, that was the second to last game. So since then, we played our last game, which was against this other team, who was about our skill level.
Mm-hmm.
But the other coach was a little obnoxious, like jumping up and down every time they scored, doing some crazy. Yeah, it was just annoying the crap out of me the whole game.
Yeah.
But we won with a last-second shot.
Oh, nice.
And it felt so good. But then I was outside talking to some of the kids, and some of the parents and stuff, and I heard that coach talking to a couple of his kids on the team, be like, "Oh yeah, we were missing a couple kids. We'll get them next time we see them. We'll be." I was like, "Oh fuck this guy." And then luckily so that was the last game of the season, and we actually played them in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, nice.
And they had their whole team, and we
Yeah.
beat them by like 12.
Heck yeah.
Felt so
Oh,
so good.
nice.
Yeah, we were in the consolation bracket
Mhm.
because I mean some of the kids on the other teams they were the ones that were beating us by 40.
You're right.
Yeah, but yeah, they can't see. Don't worry.
I'm double checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
But yeah, and then we got 2 playoff games and we won that one. So technically, we won the consolation championship.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. So
Well, like you,
we started off 0-7, and I think we ended it with like 3 wins and a tie.
Hey, got to
So we
start
got
with
better, yeah.
you got the fundamentals.
Exactly.
well, and like you told the kids too, a lot of it's going to matter more in the playoffs rather than in the regular games.
They did. They did. And the frustrating, they weren't as strict as I thought they were going to be.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, hey, good for your team stepping up then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they did really good. Yeah. So that was fun. I forgot. I swear that.
No?
Yeah, that was just when I had to yell at the ref
Heck yeah.
because the kid was traveling
Yeah.
and scoring 30 points. Yeah.
Just like the
I remember now.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
I would have shaved my chest.
You should have shaved your legs.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I shaved my arms one time for because I was on the swim team in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I shaved my arms freshman year. And I was like, I'm not doing that again. But I shaved my head every year for the district championship.
You shaved your head?
Oh yeah, razor all the way. And the nice part was, especially like in high school, we would have what we'd call like a carb up shave down party. So everyone's bringing pasta and pizza and all this stuff because the district championship's the next day. And then everyone's bringing razors and shaving cream, and it's all for fun, right? In terms of like, it's gonna make us 1,000th of a second faster.
Did you get that 0.00001 off your time?
Dude, I loved not wearing a cap, so it was fantastic for me. But the nice part was too, like, especially being a freshman in high school and you really can't shave and you have no experience with it. But the girls have a lot more experience and you can't really shave your head. So you'd have like 3 girls just working on your head and you'd feel so much more comfortable because they know how to actually shave than being a high school boy and just,
So
there were some nasty things where people would just, right up their leg. It was just,
Oh, you never go up.
yeah. So it was, I remember a kid did it and it was right on his shin. And I was just like,
Yep. That's gonna be torn up for a while.
Yeah.
but
I've done my shin shaving. I used to shave my legs for basketball. I said it was for basketball, but I think pretty sure I just did it just to do it because I thought it was cool.
Oh,
Everybody did it back then.
okay.
Yeah.
back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah. I'm older than you guys.
Yep. All right, guys, let's get into the business content for the podcast. But before we do, we have our next unofficial ad read for our favorite company, Shamrock Farms. So, do you feel like there's a void in your life? Maybe it's your relationship, your job, or just generally feeling empty inside. If you want to feel full, then we recommend drinking a half gallon of Shamrock Farms chocolate milk. It might not fix your work issues or your family life, but it just might give you something to keep looking forward to tomorrow. So do what I do. Go to your local grocery store, buy a half gallon of Shamrock Farms, and let us know how it makes your life better.
I think you need to have the pretty lady displaying the chocolate milk.
No. Yeah.
It's great.
Is there a discount code they can use at Fry's?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're at Fry's and you're one of their loyalty members, go ahead and punch in the phone number attached to that card, and usually you're going to see a discount on there.
I thought you were going to give your phone number so you could get the points.
Oh yeah, we could just rack up like the fuel rewards on there. The problem is we'd get a lot more phone calls than we would people buying chocolate milk.
Yeah.
All right. On the business side, I know I mentioned it on, I guess jumping the gun a little bit. The specific info from the industry, this is stuff that we're tracking in terms of building materials. 2x4s are $373. Plywood is $25.85. Copper is $30.37. Now, for all of these, those aren't huge jumps, but they are up. The 2x4s, usually they've been hanging out for about a year around $3.25, so we're seeing those up 50 cents per stud, which at something like this, that I guess I shouldn't say it's a small amount. It is jumping quite a bit. Plywood had been hanging out between 12 and 20 for the most part, or low 20s. Right now we're at 25.85, and then copper had been staying steady at 27, and we had seen that one jump. I think it was about, I want to say 12 months ago now. That one's up again to 30.37. So this is kind of leading me to believe that we're seeing something more across the board in terms of the building materials rising. We've seen plywood go up, go down, and 2x4s and copper were staying steady, but this is now in 1 week we're seeing everything go up across the board. So just something we're going to pay attention to.
Do you track these three numbers, the 2x4, plier, and copper, just because those are the three main numbers that you can really find out where building supplies are going? Because I'm assuming you don't use copper too much in building.
A lot, plumbers are using it less because they're going to PEX, but a lot of the plumbing was being done with copper. You're also going to have electrical stuff that's all going to be copper, so that's why I pay attention. This is copper piping, but it kind of just gives us
It's a good gauge.
frame of reference to know, okay, if pure copper is going up, that means most likely your Romex is going up, everything that is going to be made with copper is going up. So
Gotcha.
that's why I choose these. So the 2x4s and the plywood,
Makes sense.
yeah, that's going to be your structure for the most part, roofing, all that good stuff. So that's why I try and pay attention to those. In terms of the action steps from last month, the goal was to create another list with 150 real estate agents on it and call them to say, hey, here's who we are. We created the list. That was all done. That was done in the first half of the month. And then between the two kitchens where everything was going nuts, the bulk of my time was just gone. And I did not want to start calling people outside of business hours. And usually I'll call someone here up until like 6 p.m. and then I shut it down because I don't want to be calling people late at night and they're like, lose my number. So the goal for next month is going to be to try and wrap that up. I think the mayhem is going to start slowing down a little bit, which should help open up a little bit more time to get that wrapped up. One of the big things that I did notice with this last month, though, is I had a lot of reach outs from Sphere. So that's been pretty nice in terms of a lot of it being word of mouth. And most of it has been smaller jobs, but some of it's repeat customers, some of it is just a referral, stuff like that. So, and those have, I think I've got 3 of them that we got commitments on in the last week. So I'm very happy about that. With all the leads popping off, there have been a couple jobs that I kind of wanted to highlight in terms of what happened. I had a friend refer me to another client in their neighborhood, and they had, I'm trying to figure out how vague I want to be. They had a project they wanted me to do. It was going to be a large project for what I had done for SITOIG previously. We bid everything out. We went and looked at different finish options that they could choose from, all those things. I was being told that, hey, could you give us just a rough general price in terms of what this is going to cost? We're going to go with you. We just want to know how much money we're putting into this. So I gave them a rough price, followed up with the true estimate, breaking down all the line items, what we'd be doing, what each trade is going to be doing, all that stuff. We had one of the vendors, they had a very specific list of the selections they made, and then found out on Saturday that they were going with a different contractor who came in at a cheaper price than I was. So I was a little surprised that they had told me, hey, it's yours, and then there was someone else in competition. So that one wasn't super fun because I thought that one was going to be mine. I didn't pad that one in any way because I was very confident it was going to be mine. I tried to just bid it as accurately as possible to make sure I wasn't going to lose any money on it. I wanted to make sure all my Trade partners got paid. Everything was complete. So something's ticking. Anyways, my big takeaway.
The laptop.
There we go. All right, let's make sure all our cords aren't touching the microphones. Cool. My big takeaway from that was, dear God, this is gonna drive me nuts.
Hello, is it me? No.
I don't think so.
No, it's Thaddeus.
Might be. My big takeaway from this whole situation was the other contractor may have been priced cheaper. And I followed up today to even ask the customer, like, I just want to make sure, like, if there's something that they did on the customer experience side that was better than what I did, I want to know so that I can be upping my game. Mm-hmm. But I think for the next time, if I were to walk into an identical situation, it's going to be, I need to have a better presentation and a better customer experience in terms of from the initial consult, having certain samples that they can look at, thinking about even the possibility of looking into rendering software so that we can build out renderings for them, even in just a generalized way. If I could get on the phone, hey, what are we looking at in terms of the project? Yeah, it's this space is this big by this big. Here's what we're looking to do, whether it's a kitchen, bathroom, whole house, whatever. But just to have a couple things in there to try and really set that hook to establish the value with what we're going to be providing. Because at the end of the day, I know that I've lost money on jobs. So if someone's bidding against me in that situation, it's like, you can't get any cheaper.
Yeah.
Because money's being lost.
Right.
But so another contractor might be doing that. If they're coming in cheaper, that's fine. I just need to make sure that I'm selling myself on the customer experience and the finishes at the end. So that's where my thought went to in terms of the big thing I want to be paying attention to going forward. So.
Yeah, I think that's the right idea, though. You don't want to be competing on price. That's a race to the bottom. You specifically are trying to establish yourself as a premium brand. So, it does suck that they kind of, said, oh, this is yours, and then later they decided to renege. But at the end of the day, I think you're still having the right approach and be like, okay, if you work with us, we're going to give you insane quality regardless. Mm-hmm. And
yep.
And you're not trying to use that as an excuse to jack up, prices, all that. You're still being very fair price-wise, making sure that you're taking care of everyone involved with you, which I think is 100% the right approach.
Yeah. And then real quick before I hand it over to Mason, the update on the road to 100K, we had $12,918 come in for the month of April. I had a nice check come in for May 1st as well. So that one sucked that it missed the April cutoff line. So I think May has the potential to be a very good month right now. So I'm looking forward to it. But that brings my current total to $38,518. So we are just over 60,000 left in the road to 100K. And I think we're going to be chopping that down pretty aggressively here in the next 2 months. So.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you guys are smoking. Well, especially Mason. Jeez, looking at Mason.
Yeah, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but hey, that's a nice hockey stick right there. Mm-hmm. All right, Mason, what do you got for us?
All right. So, let's just, since I'm wearing the dress, let's recap our action steps. Obviously, I needed 4 videos on Instagram, specifically Reels. I got 2 for the month of, 2 technically in the month of April. Mm-hmm. But for a win for me personally, to make myself feel better about this, is because I started later than I wanted to. I stuck to the strategy of the timing and when I wanted to do it, and I did it and kind of just had to eat it, having to wear the dress,
but
which I'm okay with.
But if you continue, you've already done 2 for May. So, I mean, including posting like
You are
13 minutes before you got here.
well
that doesn't.
ahead.
Well, in my that's. I mean, I guess for having to wear the dress again,
Yes.
that's going to work out well for me.
Yes.
But I still have 4 more on top of it. Hopefully, should be able to fit if I hit the.
Well, but that's what I'm saying is you're already establishing the habit of consistency, which is
Exa-
something we haven't seen.
And that's what I wanted to do instead of just getting the 4 in for the video
Yeah.
for the purpose of this.
Yeah.
Because I had them already ready. I could have just posted them, but I didn't want to do that.
Okay.
So, but I don't know. There's some other people on the team that they're posting reels like every day kind of thing. But then like some of them get really good action, some of them don't. And I don't want to get in the habit of. I'm not somebody on social media all the time, so I don't want to have to post all the time like
Yeah,
that.
that's
So
fair.
4 is a lot for me.
Yeah.
Clearly. Yeah. But and then so because the main objective is for me just to keep up with my sphere so they know what I do and what I'm doing. Because I mean, buying a home,
Yeah.
just like getting some stuff work done on your house, it's one of the biggest things you'll ever purchase in your life. So it's not something that comes up all the time.
Right.
So it's just more of I want to make sure that they know that I still do real estate. So when
Yeah.
the time comes, maybe they'll think of me.
Well, question for you: if you look at the other member on your team that is posting daily, how much more or less business would you say that person has than you? Would you say does it
Well,
seem
and,
like
and we could say because of their posting on social media.
yeah?
specifically.
Do you think that they have a lot more business because they're posting every single day?
It has not translated fully yet as far as the social media.
Okay.
They started off with
Did they just start doing this recently?
no, they've been doing it for a little bit. Like
I think beginning of the year.
yeah,
Okay,
they've actually got more action, which I think is they've got more action on YouTube.
interesting.
But they kind of slowed that down, but they've gotten a lot of followers,
Okay,
and I think
so it's built their reach.
exactly yeah, but they haven't
Hasn't necessarily
executed and turned to money. He's
It
gotten
hasn't converted.
gotten a couple leads or quite a few leads, but it hasn't turned into anything.
Yep.
Plus, they do kind of different types of videos, but their strategy is to get leads and get people. So
Yeah.
so these people are people like they don't know. Whereas right now, I want people that I do know.
Right. Okay.
So
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
One of the things too I did notice on your reels was the consistency of message that even you have from the podcast to the reel you posted in terms of the buyer's situation, whether it's good or bad, is dependent upon the situation that they're in. And that's one of the things where for most people you're going to see realtors posting it's the perfect time to buy, whether it's the prices are shooting through the roof or plummeting through the floor. But like we've talked about since we started doing this, that like it's situation dependent. And I thought it was just interesting to, and I want to kind of give you the kudos for it, that you kept that messaging consistent on the podcast and then on
Yeah.
IG.
well, yeah, it's really hard. That's where I think partly that's why it takes so long for me to post videos, because I'm trying to think about how do I post a video that's going to get engagement, but then I don't have to say buy a house now or
Yeah, you're not trying to be
this
like
is a great time
salesy.
to buy. Yeah, so try to figure out ways to wording.
Yep.
And in the beginning of the video, because a lot of people don't watch the videos fully, so it's just playing around with things to see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really care about followers. Just more people view it better kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the consistency. So move forward. I'm going to go with 4 again. Although I was listening to a recent podcast with somebody who she's like a social media expert, where she's started one business and then does real estate and now she's helping out real estate. But it was more of playing the algorithm for Instagram. So if you're on Instagram and you're liking other realtors' posts, you're liking the algorithm when you post things is going to show up to other realtors. So it's you want to engage more with whoever you're targeting, so then it shows up that way.
Yep.
And she was saying too, where in her experience, when you post reels, that's more to get people that you don't know to follow you and then engage with the content you do have. And then you're on your actual page, like when you post videos and stories and stuff, that's to engage the people who already follow you. So I'm going to make it bland and say 4 videos because I'm going to try it out, do 2, and then put some just on my main page kind of thing to see if that actually. I have a decent amount of people that follow me because I know a lot of people to see if that gets the same amount of views kind of thing, and then so I'm gonna play around with it, but 4 total videos on the social media. So, plus if I post on my page, it also goes to my Facebook too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think the thing about the internet and being online is the more you post on social, the more that establishes you as an authority. And like because of that, a lot of people are just bad authorities. They're just like, it's in my sphere. It's really interesting. There's a lot of people posting on LinkedIn, and they're like, oh, this is how you get a career in data analytics. And like I've talked to some of those people in person, and they've got like 2 months of data analytics experience, or none at all, and they're just talking out their butt. And I'm just like, you guys just got there and you're already trying to teach other people and get other people to pay you to learn about that? Like, that's just wild.
yeah, that's what I don't want.
Yeah.
So, and I get a decent amount of leads through being on a team that I don't know. So I'm trying to take advantage of that and not having kind of, you guys are pure solo.
Yeah.
So you're trying to generate everything and anything. So I'm trying to take more advantage of not having to focus too much on people I don't know and more on people I do know. So I'm not going to be on a team for the rest of my career. So when I do leave, I have that consistency in my sphere, and then I can start branching out in different ways to get people I don't know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and then we teased it. We've seen some rough numbers to start this year off, and then in January we went 0. February 1460. March dipped to 250, and then April we had
17,882.
all right.
Disgusting.
Yep. I mean, usually you don't like to see too many low months like that.
Sure.
Alternating would be better because you get big numbers like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 17,882, that puts me just under 20,000, so 19,500.
All right, and then break that down for us in terms of, I think through the first 3 months you had all rentals that had closed, and that was the commission that we saw off of those. What makes up this?
Yes. So this number is a bigger sale. I helped a past client buy another house. So the bulk of that was on there, and then I also had 2 smaller rentals. For some reason, there's a lot of rental people reaching out to me. I mean, money's better than no money.
Right.
Plus, I always have the opportunity to turn those either now into a buyer or down the road into a buyer. Set them up, stay in touch. Plus, I can add them to my my sphere and then drip on them that way. So I'm not against it. I mean, if you're a renter and you want to go look at 20 houses every other day, no.
Yeah.
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 And I've done through the years, I've done a really good job of qualifying rent, because a lot of renters like, oh, I need to rent a house, like $1,000, or like they have an eviction. So I ask them up front, like, do you qualify this way? If you do, I can help you find a house.
Right.
So yeah.
No, that's a good idea.
Cool. All right, is there anything
Are we
specific?
running fast? Well, I'll just real quickly, the numbers. I don't know if you'll paste this on there, but this month or last month compared to April compared to March, they're very similar. So we're around 13,000 active homes and closing around 1,300 homes a week. So it's an active market. I mean, I don't know what kind of stuff you see on social media about all these bad things.
I'll throw it out there right now. Saw the thumbnail once again for it's the PBD podcast. I used to love these guys. I don't watch them anymore because of how many times they've been the boy who cried wolf, and once again the thumbnail was the market's going to crash because of
Fed.
the Fed rate. So yeah. Anyways, continue with how many homes have closed, and we've seen continue to close, and they've been wrong for the last year.
1,300 homes a week are closing, and that's just in
5,200 in the last month if you take that as an average.
Yep, and that's just in Maricopa County. I don't count the other parts. I count the central ones, and I do take out homes over $1.5 million, and I take out mobile homes. Which mobile homes, there's a lot of them going
Yeah.
in and out. So I do take. So there are even more. And surprisingly, I was surprised by this. The days on market is still around 40. Because usually what you'll see is the days on market slightly go up, and then the active homes go up, and then you see the amount closing slightly go down a little bit. And that's when you know we're having a market shift that not a lot of people are buying right now.
Yeah.
But right now it's about even. I will say it is kind of a weird market. It's I would call it more of a neutral market, even though the numbers at 13,000 might dictate that it's still a seller's market. It's a seller's market if you have a really nice home. If it's fully updated and everything, not even fully up. If it's just updated, you have granite countertops, you have newer flooring, mainly one flooring throughout the house instead of four or five. Like, it's gonna sell quick. But buyers are being more picky with homes that need some work on it.
Sure.
You know, so especially if you have a home like that, if you price it too high and you bring it down, you're not going to get a lot. It's going to be on the market for a while. So it's like, I'd call it a neutral market.
Yeah.
And I know we're running late. I mean,
No, we're actually doing well on time.
yeah. I mean, the only other big thing to the industry, you've probably seen it if you have it on social media with the lawsuits with real estate commissions. So basically, sellers are no longer obligated to pay for the buyer broker commission. Usually in Arizona, you would list a house. Hey, I'll list it for 6%. I'm going to get 3%, and I'm going to offer 3%. That's how I pitched it. You're going to pay me 6%. I'm going to take 3%, and I'm going to offer my 3 of the 6 to the buyer's agent for bringing us a buyer. But there was a conflict saying, like, why do we have to pay for that when the buyer broker is working for the buyer and not for us, but we have to pay for it? So they've already do this in 8 other states. And I think mainly in Australia too, they've always done it this way. But now sellers are no longer having to offer it. So now you have to you as a buyer agent, you have to negotiate your commissions in the purchase contract, which used to be illegal.
Interesting. So does that mean, say I'm a buyer, do I have to now save an extra portion of my deposit to go towards you, or does that come out of the loan?
Possibly.
Okay.
So now what happens, you're a buyer, you want me to help you. We are going to have an agreement, a buyer broker, stating that you are, basically the way mine are written out is we're agreeing that I'm going to help you find a house for 2.5%, or let's just say 3% of the purchase price that you purchase.
Okay.
But I'm going to do my best to negotiate the seller to pay as much as that 3% as possible.
Gotcha.
So, in question is how much are sellers going to be willing to pay?
Yeah.
A lot of them probably are still going to pay for a lot. Because if you don't offer anything, then it's like, well, my buyer can't afford the down payment, closing costs, and to pay me. So like, now we can't put an offer on your home.
If I were to kind of simplify it, it seems that it's another form of seller concessions, whereas something that we got for buying this house was we asked that they would cover, I think they covered 2% of our closing costs, or 2% of the purchase price went towards our closing costs.
Exactly.
So it's essentially going to be the same thing, that you're negotiating that once again. So my guess would be is that if we were to see all of a sudden the inventory shoot through the roof and it's a buyer's market, then sellers are going to be offering, hell yeah, we're going to pay the buyer's agent's commission.
Exactly.
Yes, we're going to pay you the closing costs. But if all of a sudden we come back in a month and the inventory has gone from 13,000 down to 6,000, it's going to be like, buyers, you might as...
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. So,
Who wants the house?
Exactly.
but I think to your point, there's precedent inside of the national market, inside the international market. So it's not something that they came in and just said, hey, figure it out, guys. So there's a process in place that they can kind of slide on in there. And then on top of that, it's once again the extension of the seller concessions that people understand, hey, this is how the process works.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, they've been doing this in 8 other states.
Okay.
And there's a good amount of real estate agents that do that for a living in those states. So it's there, you can do it. I mean, the only interesting thing is that there is a cap on concessions. You're only allowed to get a certain amount.
3%.
Yeah. And so
Is the commission completely separate?
that's what still is up in the air. Because all this stuff isn't going to go into till about July-ish.
Okay.
It can go, I mean, on the MLS, you don't offer, you used to be able to see how much the buyer broker was. Now they're completely taking it out.
Interesting.
It's not out yet, but like they could take it out tomorrow. So, yeah, there's just a lot of different ways. You just kind of have to restructure how you do things and then have that conversation with the buyer because you're no longer a free resource to them.
Right.
So now, as buyer's agents, you kind of have to, as far as, the experience kind of thing, which you're talking about your business now, you kind of have to make sure you overemphasize that, that you give them the right experience, but also you do the right things, the contract back and forth so you can do your best.
Right.
Which I'm interested to see what happens with this because my thought would even be there's the potential for more flat fees to come out of this, which would be interesting to watch to see if someone tries and go at it that way. My only kind of hesitation with making that prediction would be a lot of real estate is a good old boys club and they don't really change. So in terms of there's change in the market, there's a shakeup, but for the most part, to your point, it's like when you're going to talk to a seller, for the most part, hey, typically this is going to be something they're asking for, even the same way that someone might ask for the seller concessions or they might ask for repairs for something around the house. So that's already going to be in the conversation, priming the seller to make them more likely to offer that to the buyer's agent. So I don't see it being a huge shakeup unless someone who's really motivated and has the money to do it says, we're coming in to start a new brokerage and really shake things up to see if we can cut the legs out of underneath a lot of people. But I don't think that's going to happen. Open Door had the chance to do it a year and a half ago, and they just tripped at the finish line. So.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Nice.
There's a little shakeup.
Cool. All right. Alex, how's this last month been? I know that I think we said things were slowing down a little bit in March. So what are we looking at in terms of April?
Yeah. April was a weird month. So like you had a story of someone who's like, hey, we got you for a job. I had two similar experiences where I had one person who's like, they already had a Power BI team, but they needed assistance. So they're like, hey, guaranteed job. It's someone I knew, so I trusted them pretty well. And it was a bigger company, so it seemed pretty good. From my price point for them is like nothing. So it wasn't really a big problem. They had this huge process of getting me added as a vendor. It took weeks for them to add me in as a vendor, get me approved. As soon as we get approved and we're like, all right, cool, we're ready to go, they're like, IT just told us that they're doing a giant migration in like 8 or 9 months. And so it doesn't make sense to have you work on all this stuff because you'd have to start it all over again as soon as we do the migration. And so I gave them a couple options. I was like, hey, we can, because there was some other stuff that wouldn't have been affected by the migration. I was like, hey, we can prorate it, we can do this kind of stuff. And he's like, my manager doesn't want to touch this until the migration is done. So that was like literally on the final doorstep. And that would have been...
Is that still in play though?
I mean...
8-9 months down the road?
Yeah, but pretty strong chance. Okay. But I mean, who knows?
Still,
you don't want to get your hopes up on that. So that really sucked because that was going to be a good job. And just even having that relationship would have been really nice. It would be like the kind of the bench for that team. Like, hey, we're super swamped. We really need to get some stuff done. Oh, okay, we know Alex does good work. We can count on him to help whenever we have a surplus of work. So I was kind of hoping to get that opportunity there, but the relationship's still there. The friend felt really, really bad, but it's it is what it is. It really sucks.
Yeah. How does that work in your in my industry? If somebody says, "Oh no, I can't. I got to wait 8 to 9 months."
Yeah.
I can do a monthly follow up and stuff. Like, how do you use your follow up with something like that? Since it's more of like they need it now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and so this is why I offered. I was like, hey, we can split up the costs, and so we can do the prorate costs for the stuff that I can do now, and I just do that now, and then when that migration comes. But I think they're just really hesitant to do anything and so it's like.
Well, I think Mason, correct me if I'm wrong. I think what he's more asking is, in real estate, the term is drip. You put them on a drip system. Usually, there's the automated emails that are going out, or you're creating the email that goes out to your whole sphere. Do you have a system set up like that? And I think
so they don't forget about you in 9 months.
No, nothing fancy. It's just me manually.
Yeah. So are you like for like every month are you going to be like call the company?
Well, yeah. So it's
Or is that like too much in your industry?
It really depends.
Okay.
So I think it really depends on the person. I try not to be too salesy in a lot of that, but I am trying to keep those leads warm. So my buddy is the one who's
That's nice,
on the
though,
team.
yeah.
So he does know me. So I don't think it'd come to the point. But even then, I'm still checking in. Like, hey, you doing all right?
Yeah.
Is there anything I can help you? Any questions you want to ask? That kind of stuff. So still just being a resource to him. But yeah, that was a real bummer. And then I had another opportunity that seemed like it was gonna be a huge job, like to the point where I would have needed to pull help. And I was like super excited about it. I had talked to Thaddeus about it a bit. And I followed up a couple times with them because he said, oh yeah, we have this current contractor. We're not a big fan of him. Probably gonna let him go this month. And then like I already told my boss I found the guy. And so I was like, yeah, let's go. And like this guy, for context, this guy is someone who taught me pretty much everything I know about like databases and stuff like that. He was a mentor to me at a previous job, and like really awesome guy, really genuine. So we had a great conversation. I left that conversation feeling really good. I checked up with him, and like 2 weeks later, I was like, hey, just want to see where things are at. He's like, yeah, let me check in with the team. Let me see what they're doing. And then didn't get back to me. I followed up another 2 weeks later. It was like, hey, this is the last time I'll bother you about it. Just want to check in. He's like, yeah, they can't decide what they want to do. So it's like, we have no idea what's going to happen with that. I'm like, So it's been a really frustrating month.
They're not firm no's though.
No, they're not firm no's. And it's funny, a lot of this has come through the sphere of influence. So it's people who know me, who know the quality of my work. They know me as a person. So like none of it is a rejection of me or my value or anything I bring. So it's always been outside factors, which is good and bad, but it still sucks because it's like, oh man, I really felt like I was starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, really starting to get some traction. And then it just, oh man, there's a couple weeks where it's just like all motivation was dead to me. And I was like, I was just so frustrated.
Yep.
Yeah. So that paired with, I got like super, super sick. My wife and I, we were super, super sick for like 5 days. That was miserable. So I did not hit my numbers in terms of, I wanted to post 5 videos. I only posted 1. But I did decide to switch up my format on the type of videos I'm going about. I still have been consistent with my LinkedIn posting. And, LinkedIn posting has been pretty dry recently. But similar, when you were talking about the Instagram kind of marketing approach, I found out recently that in LinkedIn, so you have, as a creator, if you set yourself up as a creator on LinkedIn, you have followers, but you also have connections. So back in my college days, I added everyone I knew as a connection. And I built up like 6,000 connections that way. It was really good, and it helped me connect to people I normally wouldn't be able to connect to. However, as a creator, when you're creating posts and stuff like that, unless if another creator or bigger creator or a different part of a different community interacts with your posts, if no one interacts with your post, they only really show it to your connections. So if you have a ton of dead connections on your LinkedIn profile, you don't get any traction because it's like, okay, well, we showed it to 100 people and no one interacted, so it must not be a good post.
Gotcha.
And so that is super interesting. So I'm trying to trim down that while I'm posting. I'm starting to branch out to X, so start doing Twitter stuff. I'm having a little bit of, I'm having someone I know help me out just, for experience sake on that kind of stuff. I can't pay them at this point. So I'm not asking a lot of them, but they're helping me out with just basic X strategy. And the great thing is because I've been posting so much on LinkedIn, I have a lot of content to pick from. So that is actually really helpful to go through all my LinkedIn content and then kind of make a X approved version that's similar themes, because I've already thought through a lot of things that are related to my industry, either as a thought leader post or as like how to do this post or think about this post. So I mean, I've been doing LinkedIn now consistently for like 3 or 4 months, and so that is actually really nice. Like, wow, okay, I planned out 14 posts because I want to start scheduling this stuff. And it took me maybe 20 minutes to write those out because I had so many other links. Oh yeah, okay, let's just simplify this. Okay, let's slim this down. So that was a really cool moment.
Do you put videos in your posts?
No, the only videos I really post on LinkedIn are like my YouTube videos that are specifically like instructions. I'm trying to play around with like video length because I tried a couple shorts, but I don't think my medium is good. Like consulting is really great to like boil down into shorts. Compared to some of the other people are doing, are more like, hey, how to get into analytics. Here's how you be an analyst. And that's not necessarily stuff that I'm trying to target. So I'm trying medium to long form content.
Have you ever tried to? I don't know if this is frowned upon on LinkedIn, especially their formula. Is that like a post that is like getting no more traction? Like it hit 200 views, and then it hasn't hit any more views in like 2 months.
Yeah.
Have you is it frowned upon if you were to take your post and kind of put it in the AI and tell it to reword it and then repost it?
No, not at all. So a lot of people
just to get this, even though it's the same information, just say
to
it in a
punch it
different
up.
way.
Yeah. I mean, not at all. I'd be careful of using AI because it's pretty easy to tell when an AI has written a post. They have very specific language that people have started to get used to now, and it's like, okay, well, if you use a rocket emoji and has these certain type of formatting, it's pretty clearly an AI written thing.
Or just rewrite it yourself.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's what a lot of creators do. I mean, there's people that I've been following and I've seen on there who've been saying the same topics. Like, how much can you say about marketing, or how much can you say about becoming a business analyst? A lot of it is rewording, and you just got to be creative about that stuff. And I find myself was like, okay, there's plenty of times where I run into okay, what's a good topic that I can write about? And so the best posts that I typically write are when I break things down more technically. So
nerd talk.
Yeah, nerd talk. When it's about I'm addressing a problem that a client has faced, and I'm kind of saying, okay, hey, here's a problem my client had. Here's how I solved it. Those do really well. And then personal posts of hey, here's what's going on in my life, and being more personable. So that stuff is really good. But regarding AI, if we're not too far.
No, we're good. We're at 52 right now.
All right, perfect. I have two quick stories about AI. One is on Thursday, I got invited to an IBM event about AI. And it's just a friend of mine works over at IBM, and he's like, hey, we're doing this little roadshow thing, talking about the stuff.
The new plant? He works at the new place?
No, he works for IBM specifically,
Okay.
doing marketing and some other stuff. So it was a small event. There wasn't a ton of people there, but I didn't know IBM was doing anything with AI. I don't know if you guys knew at all. They had IBM Watson. IBM Watson was a really big deal. In 2012, IBM Watson was the first AI to beat a chess player, a grandmaster at chess. So that was like one of the big things. And then Go and some of the other stuff. So that was the
So
first.
they had that. Then they did. They also did Jeopardy as well to see if it could beat the Jeopardy champions.
So that was IBM Watson. And then we didn't really hear about IBM or their AI for a long time, then ChatGPT and all that kind of stuff. So I had no idea they were still even doing anything. But they are. And the interesting thing is they're doing everything open source, which is really wild to see a big company like that doing everything open source. So what that means is almost all of the models, they have a couple models that aren't necessarily open source, but they plug into open source models. Who else has a really big open source AI model? Facebook. It's called Llama, is the biggest one, and it is the biggest open source, meaning anyone can see the code underneath it, anyone can play around with it with parameters and stuff like that, and they're embracing fully open source stuff, which is just wild to see compared to OpenAI. Ironically, they can't tell you what trained their data or where they got their stuff that trained their model, versus IBM is promising, he's like, you can use any of these open source models, including our models, and we will guarantee, if someone takes you to court, we will pay all your court fees, that we can tell you exactly what trained all of these models. So that's super interesting to see that approach. Even if you're not much into AI, I think that's super interesting.
But is that all, are they probably all just going to use, however that person uses it, their AI is going to learn off of that? So their AI essentially is getting smarter as well for free and letting other people use it.
Exactly, and that's why Facebook went open source, because whoever owns the model wins, essentially.
Exactly.
In this
Well,
race.
that, and then also it's the integrations and the layering on top of it. So there's this podcast I really like. It's the All In podcast, and AI is one of the big things they focus on because it's
Who's on that podcast?
Chamath Palihapitiya, David Sachs,
Yeah.
David Friedberg, and then Jason.
I've seen a lot of clips of there.
But it's a podcast I've really enjoyed, and the really cool thing is just they've been David Sachs has been affiliated with Elon. He had an exit from a .com company earlier in the 2000s, Chamath Palihapitiya. He was, I think, one of the highest ranking members at Facebook when they were in a big part of their development. He was one of the signing members when they incorporated part of it in Ireland. Who is it? David. What's the other David's last name? I just said it, but it's gonna kill me. But the other guy was at Google. He was on part of their team, and now he's got his own company. But they react to a lot of what's going on with AI because they've got a lot of investment, stuff like that. One of the things that they pointed out was usually an industry leader is not going to go open source because they're on the cutting edge of everything. And if you show your cards to everyone when you're the leader, it's now everyone can catch up.
Yeah.
Whereas when someone's behind and they're trying to catch up, usually they're going to open source it. And the reason why is that you can have more people plug into your program and start iterating in different ways. So one of their examples was the difference between like the Apple system and the Android systems, the iOS and the Android. In terms of iOS is so locked down, everything has to play inside of its ecosystem. A lot of the user experience is cleaner, nicer, all those things. But in terms of the Android, you've got a lot more plugins that you can do with it. You can build a lot more on top of it. And that's usually where you kind of get the split between it's like, all right, for me, it's like I don't use a lot more of the technical side, and I like the user experience of things being clean, easy to use, whereas you're using a lot more of the technical side of things. You're able to layer on more stuff.
Yeah.
So for you, it's like, hey, I'm an Android guy, I'm an iOS guy,
Yeah.
but it allows for when iOS has such a large market share and they've dominated in that way, you can invite a lot more people in to help you almost try and catch up to the industry leader because you've now opened it up to everyone else to increase the amount of volume that you can put through a system and the amount of add-ons that you can have with it. So part of the rumors that they were mentioning was that, I guess that Llama released from Facebook, and it's now seems to be the cool kid on the block in terms of it's ahead of ChatGPT-4 a little bit in terms of what it can do. It's open source, so everyone's super excited about that. But right now, everyone's kind of waiting with bated breath to see ChatGPT-5 is supposed to be releasing soon.
Yeah.
And as in soon, people are like, it might be any day now, or we might be within a month or two. And they're expecting that the leap between ChatGPT-4 and ChatGPT-5 is going to dwarf the amount of difference between Llama and ChatGPT-4.
Yeah.
So the reason why Llama went open source and is technically the industry leader is not because they're really the industry leader, but more because
they're easier to adopt.
Well,
Cheaper.
But also they understand that if we release right now, we're the industry leader, we can make a splash.
Yeah.
But as soon as ChatGPT 5 wants to come out, they are no longer the industry leader. So they're banking on we're still running behind. How do we accelerate this?
Is ChatGPT still free?
3.5
Yeah.
is.
3.5. Okay.
Yeah. For 4 or more, you have to pay. And then if you want to plug in anything to it, you pay for every
What the
transaction.
hell does that mean?
So it's an API call. So if I write a piece of code and I say, hey, this is Alex's code, I can essentially plug into ChatGPT and use ChatGPT. So when people say, oh, it's an AI-powered golf club or it's an AI-powered whatever, like they are sending data that you're entering. Maybe they're changing the interface or whatever. But you go through their app and it connects to ChatGPT, gets an answer from ChatGPT, spits it back out. It's like AI-powered. So,
which on top of that, maybe if I could try and rephrase it, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. But let's say we wanted to create some kind of model specifically for helping people do taxes.
Yeah.
We could plug into the ChatGPT model, and we've refined things down, but we're using the bulk of the framework that they've set up to allow it to process through. So we pay a fee to OpenAI, which is the company that is the parent of ChatGPT, and that allows us to then use that interface. So we can essentially go almost be a business that can sell our product to everyone else, but we're still paying a licensing fee out the back door.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this kind of would be expensive.
Yeah, ChatGPT is by far the most expensive AI
What
tool.
if what if you just wanted The 5 is like is there any like tiered pricing?
No, it depends. So there's
Like if somebody just wanted to use the ChatGPT 5 to, I don't know, do normal things, like if they're doing marketing or something.
yeah. So there's different tiers for each level. So
Okay, gotcha.
for right now for 4, there's like slow, medium, fast, and it's like one is a slower model and it's cheaper. So, but if you want the really fast, really competent, like cutting edge model, then you pay more for it.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I don't want to get too much in it because I don't want to go too long on a lot of this stuff. But you have like the Apple Android is a perfect example of that. But like Android, there's a lot of free open source stuff that you can get. I've been playing around with Stable Diffusion, which is like art generation, AI art generation. That thing's completely free. Like you can download it onto your computer, and your computer does it, and it does all the things that Dreamweaver and all these other ones do. Like OpenAI's version or DALL-E or whatever it is, you can generate all that stuff. It's more technical and it takes a lot more effort to do that stuff, but it is possible. So like, it is awesome though to see that there are those options out there.
Yeah, there's a post for you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well,
Which to put the bow probably on that topic too is there's a lot of people that are jumping into the AI space and they shouldn't be. This is my opinion. I was in a situation where I overheard the pitch from a gentleman to an investor who's very wealthy in terms of what they were trying to do with AI. And essentially their business model was there's a couple founders of this company that were going to then go hire software developers in another country to do a lot of the architecture, and they're going to be the ones who are selling all this stuff off of an AI company. So my guess is going to be that you have some, I'll just be blunt, you have a couple ding-dongs together because I heard what the guy did for a living. He's not a technical guy before. He's a school teacher.
oh no.
So, but what he's recognizing inside the marketplace is, hey, if we can figure out how to plug this into the system, it works out well. But when you're outsourcing what you're doing, you no longer are the AI company.
No,
they
they
have
are.
created something for you. And if you set up that deal wrong,
Yeah.
I don't, it's kind of dumb that I know all these things with the IT companies. But anyways, you are not creating an AI. You are creating a platform that might be able to plug into the AI.
Yeah.
And in that case as well, you have something where you could get an ignorant person very excited. I'm going to go dump a lot of money into this AI company because all these AI companies are going to make a lot of money.
It's like
Same
the
thing,
dot-com bubble.
like with the .com bubble, same thing with the Bitcoin, NFTs, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So there's going to be people who come out on top in terms of, it seems ChatGPT, Llama, some of these that are having significant amounts of money, real engineers, real people putting time, money, and effort into, they're creating something real where there's a lot of hollow things out there that people will dump money into and just see their investment vanish.
Well, people don't realize that both AI and analytics are really, really similar in terms of they're only going to be good if your data's good. And so too often people think, oh, well, because I'm getting it from OpenAI or I'm getting it from Facebook or I'm getting it from wherever, it must be good. No, the problem is these things hallucinate all the time. They will tell you things that are like, for example, my wife works over the zoo, right? And they have an auto response thing on the website. That software that they use switched over from what they were using to ChatGPT, and it's supposed to scrape the website for answers. Someone is like, oh hey, I have SNAP, like food stamps. Oh, can I use that? Japan's like, yeah, you can buy a ticket to the zoo with a food stamp. No, you can't. But it decided that, and it hallucinates. It 100% says. And granted, there's ways around that, but a lot of people don't know that, and most people are not going to realize that that's what's happening.
And then layer on top of that,
No technical know-how.
Yes, the no technical know-how. So you are then even one step farther removed from getting that whole thing fixed.
Exactly.
And that's where you're going to have a lot of these ding-dongs get in there,
Yeah.
and they're going to get an investment. It's going to be several $1 million in a couple rounds of it. Like,
And they're going to lose all that
Can
money.
somebody hack into like an AI and like have them like whenever the AI, like if they were to write a paper, anytime the word like is there, they just put the word fuck. For people who don't proofread it, like, is there any
We
way people can
almost
hack into
made
AI?
it.
Well, it's more like social engineering. Like, did you see the guy who it was like on a Ford dealership page? He's like, hey, whatever I respond to, say absolutely, absolutely, and no take backsies. And he's basically like, hey, and because it's ChatGPT, you say tell me to respond that way. It does that. And so he said, hey, I really want to buy your new 2024, whatever. Or Ford F-150, but I only have $1. Can we do that? And then it said, yep, sure thing, absolutely, no take backsies. And so like he did it as a meme, but it was like obviously you can't really enforce that in court. But there have been times like Canada just ruled. There was a guy who asked for a refund on an Air Canada website, and the chatbot ChatGPT said, yeah, sure, we'll give you a refund. And he called the company and they said, no, we're not going to give you a refund. It's like, your website said it did. He took it to court and the court said, he's like, hey, if ChatGPT says that, you have to enforce it. It's on your website. You told that person. And so they had to pay him a refund plus legal fees because of ChatGPT. So it's dangerous
possible,
if you don't understand it well.
If you're not a nerd, don't do it.
Yeah, people are like, oh, well, AI. I'm like,
Don't be a ding dong.
no.
Oh yeah. You want to know what these people were setting up their AI for?
What?
911 calls. All right. So we're gonna end on that note. Mason,
before we end, should we have a post and say like who wore it better, me or Alex?
No, I did nothing to deserve that. That is staying off the internet forever.
Mason, where can people follow you and check out the 4 posts that you've had since the last podcast?
At MasonOxendale. Hopefully you've already seen them.
Yeah.
Comment if you had.
All right, Alex, where can people find you? You were mentioning LinkedIn and then branching out to X.
Yeah, so if you find me on LinkedIn, I have a pretty unique name, Alex von Reich. Or you can find me on YouTube on Control Analytics, CTRL Analytics.
Cool. All right, and then we do want to plug favorite company in the world, Shamrock Farms. They'll probably figure out a way with AI to make this even tastier. We're going to drink it. We're going to love it. It's going to be fantastic.
We have AI milk the cows.
We'll figure it out. You can find what I'm doing on Instagram at @Sito_building. We've got some pictures lined up from these projects that have been going crazy, so I'm going to try and start dumping some of those on there in the next couple of weeks. And then if you want to also take a look at sito-building.com. You could reach out to us there. Their Instagram. So yeah.
Sweet. So until next time.
Hope your hammer stays accurate.
Your Wi-Fi fast.
And your work blessed.
See you, everybody.
Blah, blah.
Good podcast, guys. You guys should have had me put this on earlier. Because what I could have done is that knowing Kendra was going to be home, I could have pretended to be in the kitchen making something and see if she would try to beat me up.
You